Alright guys, Tom here and welcome to a brand new series for my channel. This one is called TopFM's Player Guides. Now, this new series, basically what we'll be doing is taking a look at different players from Football Manager 2016, and I'll be trying to give you the comprehensive guide of that player. When I say comprehensive, I mean we're going to be looking at almost every aspect, so their attributes, their potential, how much you can buy them for, who you can buy them with, all that sort of thing. Now, as you're well aware, this is a brand new series, never done anything like this before, so all support on this would be appreciated. It's something really new for me. I've got a camera set up, I've got a green screen here, so it's something I've not done. I'm not 100% comfortable doing it yet. I'm sure as this series progresses I'll get more comfortable in front of a camera, but all the support would be appreciated, and any tips on how I can improve the series would also be appreciated. So if you could leave any constructive criticism in the comment section, that would be awesome. Now, also in terms of players for this series, I'd also like your input on that. So if you could leave any players that you'd want covered in this series down below as well in the comment section, I'll be sure to look at those and basically go off subscriber suggestions for that. Obviously I can't do everyone's suggestions, but I'll try and do as many as possible. So yes, today's episode, as you are well aware, you've seen the title, you've seen the thumbnail, you know who it is. I've picked him. He's a player I've had moderate success with in this game. He's 19 years old, he is from Serbia, he plays for Partizan Belgrade, and his name is Andrija Zivkovic. So let's get into it. He's a winger who is strongest with his left foot, although it doesn't really limit him that much. At the start of the game he's capable of playing in a total of six different positions comfortably. He is able to play at centre mid as well, but he isn't comfortable there, so if you want to play him there you're going to have to train him for it. But that does mean that he's almost a perfect utility man for your attack. Now, looking at his stats, it's clear that he's pretty well rounded. Personally, I like players like this because it means you can mould him into the player you want him to be. Being only 19 as well, there's plenty of room for growth, but it's always a good idea to look at his best attributes to see where he may be best suited, even if you're overthrowing plans for him. Now, Zivkovic's best attributes when starting a new game are his dribbling at 15, his flair at 16, and his determination at 15. Now, the question that needs to be asked is, how can you use these stats to your advantage and grow him into the player you want him to be? Well, really it's entirely up to you. Because of how well-rounded his stats are, as you can see from the screenshot, you can really mould him and train him into any attacking kind of play. If you want him up front, you can do that. If you want him on the wings, you can do that. But if it was me, I'd utilise him as a creative, hard-working winger and try and have him as the heartbeat of my side. You know, he's got the flair, he's got good crossing, and he's really determined as well, so I get the impression that with the right instructions applied to his role, you'd be able to get him to do a solid shift defensively as well. But that's just my personal opinion. I mean, what do I know? I mean, if you take a look at what Football Manager 2016 thinks, it's clear that they see him as that winger, although it indicates he's better on the right flank. This suggests to me that he could really be useful in an inside forward role. However, I always think that the beauty of Football Manager is that there's no definitive right answer, so I really do encourage anyone who purchases this guy to experiment with him and use him in your own unique way and try and just, break the mould a bit. This is all well and good, but how do you know whether he's good enough for your current squad? I mean, I considered revealing his current and potential abilities, the hidden numbers behind the game, but I felt like that would be cheating the system a little bit, so I haven't done that. But what I've done is I've found 3 other players who are in the game at the start who are at a similar level to Andrija Zivkovic at the beginning, so you can compare him with those players, and if you know how good those players are, you can think, oh, he's as good as him, so he'll be perfect for such and such a squad. Now, those 3 players are Roman Bezos, Demarai Gray, and probably the most well known out of the 3 is Jack Grealish. So they're all as good as Zivkovic at the beginning of the game, which indicates to me that he's a good player for mid to low level Premier League sides. So, teams like West Ham, maybe Everton or something like that. Now, that's enough about him at the beginning of the game. How good is Zivkovic in his prime? Now, if I told you that with the correct training and development, and if you really look after him as a player, he can reach a similar level to Kevin De Bruyne, to Antoine Griezmann, and even Frank Ribery. Would that get you excited? I'd hope it would do, because for a small investment of what you're going to find out in just a moment's time, you'll have a potentially world-class player in your hands in a few years. Now, speaking of small investments, how much will this lad set you back? And what kind of clubs will be able to sign him? In terms of cost, you'll need a couple of million spare for him. So after a bit of testing, I was able to figure out what I believe to be his cheapest price. An upfront fee of £950,000 will be required by Partizan Belgrade. I haven't been able to get him for any less than that, but you know, that's cheap as chips really for a lot of clubs. But you'll also need to chuck in a 20% of profit from the next sale clause. So I'm assuming, well, Belgrade want to look after their future just as much as any other club do, and that will keep his club happy. Then you have to worry about his agent. As his agent owns 50% of the player, he won't let go of him for as cheap as Partizan Belgrade. Now, I found that it changes depending on your save game, but it does seem to range between £1 million and £1.6 million, meaning you're likely to spend around £2.5 million in total on Zivkovic. But agreeing a fee is just the beginning. After that, you'll have to worry about whether he'll sign for you. His contract demands are reasonable. For any remotely wealthy club, I've never had to give him a wage over £10,000, but obviously you've got to add bonuses, clauses and whatever else on top of that, which does vary depending on the club you are, and it takes a lot of testing for me to get a definitive answer on that, so that's not going to happen, I'm afraid. But you need to know which clubs are interested in, because you don't want to waste your time going for players who aren't going to sign. Now, it seems that continental football is really, really important to the lad. I've found that he won't talk to any teams that don't play in a European tournament, so do bear this in mind if you're trying to sign him. I was able to sign him with no problems with a club like Real Madrid. Of course, they're a worldwide reputation club. They play in the Champions League. They're one of the favourites to win it. But it's a funny one, because with the reputation system, I took over Everton, who have a continental reputation, had a bid accepted, spoke to Zivkovic, and he went to offer him contract demands. He wouldn't even sign for me because we don't play in Europe. However, West Ham United, who got into the Europa League for this season, and the start of the first qualifying phase, I signed him with no problems because we played in Europe and they've only got a national reputation. So it's probably not worth going for Zivkovic unless you play in Europe, because you'll probably have your time wasted. So it does seem that a general rule of thumb is no Europe, no Zivkovic. So that rounds up the first ever TopFM's player guides. I really hope you've all enjoyed this and excited for the rest of the series. It's something new for me, as I said in the intro, and all constructive criticism and suggestions would be appreciated on how I could improve this series. I've put a lot of time and a lot of effort into it already, but if I can improve it even further, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on that. So I thank you for all the support you've given me on my videos in the past, and hopefully, as I'm sure you guys will, because you're a great bunch, you'll give me support on this one as well. So if you have enjoyed, don't forget to like, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and also leave a comment down below of which player you'd like to see for episode 2. And once you've done that, it'd be great. And thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Ta-ra.